It snowed last night. I'm not a fan of snow. I'm feeling cold and bitter today, so let's talk about some books you could not pay me to read. If you enjoy these authors or books,
good for you.
They're not for me. I'm glad we got that settled. I will not be reading anything by Colleen Hoover. As someone who is in the booktube and book talk space frequently, the lines I've seen while roaming the interweb, they are still inside my head and I wish I could get them out. Number 2, I will not be reading any Haunting or Hunting Adeline. I know these books are pretty viral. I just don't think dark romance is for me. I've never given it a shot, but just seeing some lines from those books, I don't think that genre as a whole would be for me. Number 3, I will not ever read Credence. Credence. When I think about the things that I've heard that are in this book, my gag reflex kicks in. So I'm gonna quickly move on. You couldn't pay me to read or watch Marley and Me. In fact, any books that I have to grieve an animal that I have come to dearly love, not for me. I don't want it. I know that they're probably good books, but I don't need that grief in my life. Halfway at number 5, nonfiction and philosophy books. When I read, I mostly read to escape reality, not dive more into it. 95, probably more percent of the books I read are fiction books. There's a small percent of nonfiction books that I might pick up. The only reason I would is if it's a person I actually care to know more about, or if it's by a comedian, because I do like to consider myself a silly joke girl, and I do like to know more about jokes. You know, I should have had this one at number 5 because 50 Shades of Grey. I don't see myself ever reading these or watching the movies. I'm just not that kind of gal, and that's okay. I'm a girl who loves a plot and some spice with a plot. Spice with a little plot. I'll pass. Next is Stephen King. My decision to not want to ever read his books was reinforced with the stuff coming out about him. I've never really understood the hype around Stephen King. If you hear crinkling or rustling, my cat is playing and he's perfect. He's not disturbing us. If anything, we're disturbing him. Following up, we have JKR. The books have been out a long time. If I wanted to read them already, I would have. I also don't appreciate JKR's actions as a human being, so I'm gonna pass. The next author on my list is Thalassa. I read Rhapsodic about a year ago. I think the premise would have been great had it not been between a teenage girl and a grown man who essentially groomed this teenage girl into adulthood and then abandoned her, and then she was still obsessed with this man.
We didn't need that.
On top of the age gap giving me the ick, I also just didn't really vibe with Laura's writing style. Number 10, the last book, technically books you couldn't pay me to read, are the classics. I've read a handful of them, and when I read, those are just not the books I gravitate towards. When I pick up a classic, I have to think a little bit longer about the words I'm reading for my comprehension to still be decent. Also, when I pick up a classic, I feel like I'm back in school trying to study for a test or complete an assignment, and that's not the vibe I want to have when I'm reading a book. Leave a comment and tell me what books you would absolutely never read, even if somebody paid you to. Thank you for commenting and sharing. All right, see ya.